Welcome in, welcome in. This is Taillights with Larry and Angie Baum. And now take it away, Larry.
Angie's going to take it away.
And take it away, Angie.
Hey, good evening, everybody. So we have some special guests with us back again. We have Lori and James Underwood from Rolling with the Underwoods. They are dear friends of ours, and they are joining us on the show again. You want to say hi, guys?
Hi, guys.
I knew you would do that, James. Oh, so for our listeners, what they don't know is we were actually all together yesterday because they surprised me for my 50th birthday party, and they happened to be driving through town on one of their loads, and so we got to spend the whole day together yesterday.
That was
yes,
fun.
We did. We had a blast.
Oh, yeah.
We went out to dinner. We went to Red Lobster.
Us girls went shopping.
You girls went to the mall.
It was
and
fun.
The guys dressed up.
Yes,
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
Lots of laughs. So for our viewers who may not have heard the show before, James and Laura, you guys want to introduce yourself and kind of tell them a little bit about your trucking life?
Well, I'm James Underwood. I'm a solo driver for Stampede Express. I used to drive for one of the mega carriers. Been driving for about 7 years now. And my lovely wife and our 2 chihuahuas ride with us.
I'm Lori, and I've been out here on the road with them for 6 years. And we do this together. We work it out. We work it out really good out here on the road.
Let's just love it out here.
We do.
You know, it's got its ups and downs.
I'll say you guys love it so much that you actually sold your house, and now you guys are doing what we want to do, and you're homeless.
Yep.
Pretty much. I mean, we have a P.O. box, but, you know, this is our home now.
Yep.
Living on the road.
It's a good way to save up for retirement.
Traveling.
We will be there soon.
I'll retire the day after they put the last coffin nail in my coffin.
Yeah, I think that's a guy thing. Or maybe it's a trucker thing. We never want to stop working.
I'll probably drive till DOD tells me you can't drive anymore.
Right?
Oh, gosh.
Hey, you know, old truckers never die. They just get a new Peterbilt.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with a P.
So I was going to ask you, James, we talked a little bit about it the other day, but in the news recently, they were talking about how they're talking about possibly setting our trucks back and governing them back to 65 miles an hour. And we kind of briefly touched on that. What is your opinion on if that happens?
I don't like the idea. I think makes us a road hazard because we'd be traveling 20 to 30 mile an hour slower than the traffic on the highway because nobody pays attention to speed limits anyway. And that, I think it's going to increase accidents. I don't see where it saves all that much in fuel because my truck for the mega carrier was governed at 65. The truck I have now is not governed, and I'm still getting about 7 to 8 miles to the gallon.
That's what I get in my Volvo. 7.6.
Yeah, so I don't see a big difference at all in the fuel economy, which is what they're saying is the reason for it. And I think it's going to cause a lot more accidents.
I think it'll slow the supply chain down, too, with deliveries getting to wherever we need to go. It's going to slow us down more because you're government.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to piss off a lot of four-wheelers, and they're going to be brake checking a lot of trucks.
Right.
Now, Lori, I was going to say, I don't know if we touched on this the last time that we had the show, but you're a trucker's wife and you ride with James on the road, but you do a lot of other stuff. I mean, I know you do a lot to help him out. So can you tell us a little bit what your life is like on the road with your husband as a trucker?
Well, it all depends on like the situation or our day. There's sometimes that he'll get in like sticky spots where we think there's a turnaround and there's not. So sometimes I have to get out in the middle of the road and back him out, stop traffic, you know. There's nights that when he's parking, he can't see, so I have to get out and help him back up. He does the load board. I do a lot of the trip planning, so I kind of plan our trips, where we're going to go, what we're going to see, if we're going to do anything, you know, that kind of thing. And then I also help out with a Facebook group called Trucker Safety Divas, and I sell sunsafe from the road.
That's awesome. When you're in the back and you're helping them back up, do you use the phone? You guys communicate with the phone or only hand signals?
No, he teaches me all the hand signals. So
Good
he's
boy.
teaching me how, instead, because you can't see the hand, you can't see the fingers, so he's teaching me to use both of my arms. He's teaching me how to tell him when he's good. You know, how do I want to explain that?
Basically, she shows when I'm starting to get close, she gives me a distance by putting her arms like shoulder width apart.
Right.
And as I close that distance, she moves them together. And when her hands touch, that means I need to stop.
We were actually talking about that yesterday, and it was funny because that's exactly how Larry trained myself. Because a lot of times, you know, I'll have to get out there too, especially if it's a tight dock or if there's a lot of things in the way. Sometimes we'll use our phone, but most of the time we do the hand communication. And we realized it was from your guys' Army training that that's the hand signals that you guys use.
And that's why I got gloves and the fluorescent gloves so he can see my hands at night, you know.
Exactly.
We do the phone
I got her the
also.
whole fluorescent outfit.
Yep.
Well, that's a good thing because for those of you guys that don't know, Lori is very short.
Very, yes.
And you
I'm
gotta hand it to short
49,
people.
so I'm like a midget.
I also wanted to mention before I forget, and I'll mention again at the end of the show, you guys can follow Lori and James on Facebook. They have a Facebook page called Rolling with the Underwoods, and they also live stream from the road on a Trucker's View on Facebook as well, where you guys share a lot of what life is really like to be out there on the road with your two Chihuahuas, Lady and Thor.
And you go live when you do your cooking on the truck.
Yes, you guys do a lot of cooking on the truck.
We do.
We show the good, bad, and the ugly, and all the cooking stuff we do. We actually, you know, anything you can cook at home, we can cook out here.
Which I think a lot of people are surprised at because they think of, oh, well, you've got a microwave and a fridge, but we've got a lot more appliances, which makes it convenient so you don't have to eat the truck stop food.
What appliances do you guys have on your truck that you use to cook with?
Well, the one we use the most, we have a Galan's 3-in-1. It's a microwave, air fryer, and convection oven. We also have a single burner hot plate. We have
A skillet.
an electric skillet and our Instapot.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a couple of the small like griddle waffle maker, pancake maker, and sandwich toaster that Walmart sells.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a little bit more than we have.
Yep. I was going to say,
We love
Go ahead,
to
Lauren.
cook out here. It's just hard because since you're in such a small space, one person is doing the major cooking while the other person is doing like prep work or, you know, whatever, mixing it or whatever it is. But so,
how do you guys go about keeping everything, like cleaning dishes and stuff?
We have collapsible, the
baskets.
They're actually listed on Facebook or on Amazon as collapsible sinks. And they're two small baskets that collapse down, fold flat. We pop them open, heat up some water in the microwave, pour it in there, and there we go. We wash dishes.
We just recently got those, last month, I think it was?
Yeah.
And what do those double as?
They double as shopping baskets for when we go into the truck stops, because truck stops usually don't have shopping baskets.
That's true.
We do get looks with our shopping basket. Trust me, a lot of people's like...
Okay, guys, we'll be right back. Keep your eyes on the road and your ears on us. We'll be back with Lori and James Underwood.
This blog is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. The dark side of the long-haul trucker lifestyle. A trucker's lifestyle can be a gloomy place at times. The long days, stressful work environments, and loneliness have major effects on a driver's life. The dark side of the long-haul trucker's lifestyle is often overlooked and not addressed. As a result, many drivers suffer from mental and physical health problems. Before entering the trucking industry, long-haul truck drivers need to be aware of the good and bad that comes with this lifestyle. It's difficult to stay healthy. Being in good health is a rare thing for long-haul truck drivers. Life on the road doesn't give drivers many opportunities to live a healthy lifestyle. When you spend the majority of your trucking career on the go, your food options are limited. Although taking an exit to get McDonald's may seem like an easy solution or the easiest option, eating fast food for every meal for weeks at a time can cause serious health issues. Obesity is one of the most common health issues in truckers. If you don't watch your diet and exercise, you could end up developing a serious health problem. Say goodbye to a regular sleep schedule. The trucking industry runs 24/7, 365, so having a regular sleep schedule is rare for long-haul drivers. The loading and unloading times are often never the same. At times, a driver will deliver a load at 2 a.m. one day and 1 p.m. the next day. In addition to the inconsistent load times, drivers can make multiple deliveries a day. This creates a lot of stress on the body and leaves the driver operating on a few hours of sleep. If you're struggling with getting enough sleep and staying awake on the road, check out our blog, 5 Easy Steps to Help Truckers Stay Awake While Driving. You'll feel lonely. It's not uncommon for long-haul truck drivers to feel lonely while on the road. Drivers have very little face-to-face interactions while working on the road. While this may seem like a good thing for some drivers, it can start to develop depressive symptoms. Depression is a common side effect of trucking. To help avoid feeling depressed on the road, talk to your friends and family on the phone at least once a day. As a long-haul truck driver, you can often feel like you're missing out on your loved one's life. Communicating with them daily will help you feel less lonely. It's hard on your relationships. Long-haul trucking can strain your relationship with your significant other. Being away from your loved one for weeks at a time is never easy. In addition to being apart, many drivers struggle with balancing their work life and personal life. Relationships already take a lot of work, but long-distance relationships take even more work. When you become a long-haul truck driver, it's important to be willing to put an extra effort into your relationship. Some quick tips to having a healthy relationship as a long-haul truck driver. Communicate daily. Spend as much time together as possible when you're not working. Consider therapy. Avoid arguments. Trust each other. This blog has been brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. Do you have the TNCRadio.live app? It's free and easy to download. Just go to app.tncradio.live, Google Play, or the App Store. Get access to live streaming radio developed by drivers for drivers. Download the TNCRadio.live app today.
The Hotshot Secret Facebook page gets a lot of robust Q&A about diesel problems and their solutions. We listen to our customers. Here are their words straight from their mouths about Hotshot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment. Our fans call it EDT.
I'm John Sharp, a.k.a. Jay Sharp from Newburgh, Pennsylvania. Using EDT, my local fuel mileage went to average of 22 to 23, and my highway MPG went to 26 to 28.
Hi, I'm Danny. I'm from Arizona. I drive a 02 Ford Excursion. I use EDT at every fill up, and my mileage went from 12.5 miles to gallon to 14 miles per gallon. I highly recommend it.
Everyday Diesel Treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Welcome back to Taillights with the Baums. I'm Angie, and I've got my co-host, my hubby, Larry.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we were just talking with our good friends, Lori and James Underwood. And so you guys had recently sold your house, and now you guys are actually living on the truck full time. So that's like a lot different than a lot of truckers, because most truckers have home time. So how do you guys go about like getting supplies, getting your laundry done?
Well, we do. There's a couple of ways. One, most of the truck stops we can do our laundry in. But the other way is we do still take home time. We just visit with friends and family, or we take time off and get a hotel room. So we can do our laundry in the hotel rooms, or most of our friends and family will allow us to borrow their washer and dryer. Thank you, Larry and Angela.
I would never let you use my washer and dryer.
We so appreciate
Except for when I
that.
let you use it last night.
Yep. We really appreciated that. Saves for stuff we don't have to do over the 34 we got to take.
Exactly.
Most times, if we can't visit friends or family, we'll just pick a state, whatever state we're going through, or something like that. Or like I said, trip planning. We're planning to take our days off in that state, and we'll go out and venture out and do things and stuff like that, you know.
Yep.
Right?
Uber
And
to
our
a
supplies.
laundromat. We've done that a bunch of times. Uber to a laundromat.
We've done that once in Florida.
Yeah.
But other than that, for our supplies, usually we just pull in, park in the back of a Walmart, and there you go. We go shopping.
Yeah, as I say, for the most part, Walmart and Sam's Clubs and Costco seem to be the easiest to get your trucks in.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of times we just park at a truck stop and order Walmart and have it delivered to us.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that.
We haven't tried that one yet.
Well, I used
We
to do it
actually love it.
when you were home.
Yeah,
when I was home.
At home, yeah, but we haven't tried it out on the road yet.
No.
It can be complicated because you got to try to explain to them what truck you're at and how to find you, but it's convenient. So, James, we had talked on the last show about how you were in the Army, the same as Larry. And so we had a question. How do you think like the military has prepared you for being a truck driver? Because I know a lot of veterans, once they come out of the military, that they recommend they go into trucking because it seems to be a good fit.
Well, one thing, we're used to being away from home and family a lot with the military. So, you know, our time out here on the road, we don't get it doesn't bother us as much as somebody who's always had a job, 9-to-5 job, where they're home every night and they've got their family right there all the time. We're better able to deal with the separation. But also the military teaches you and trains you that when there's a job to be done, that you're a mission to be done, you focus on get this done. And so being out here on the road, every load we take, that's my mission. So yeah. I will work as long as I can work to get the mission done legally. As far as like my driving hours and stuff, I'll push my clocks to the limit. And also the military, we're used to not getting a lot of sleep, a lot of rest. And out here on the road, even though, yes, we take our 10-hour break every day, that's not getting 10 hours of sleep. If you're lucky, you get maybe 4 or 5 hours sleep.
Right, because there's so much other stuff you have to do.
Yeah, you got to clean up the truck. You got to cook your meal or get your dinner, eat dinner, take showers.
Take dogs out if you're a pet owner.
Take the dogs out. Spend some time with the wife if she's riding with you. Different things like that. So you've got to be able to run on small amounts of sleep for long periods of time.
Yeah, and also it instilled safety in me when I was in the Army. Safety first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty safe out there.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of our training was about safety. And so that directly translates to the truck driving industry.
It also helps too because, how the military was taught. They were taught to keep their barracks clean, their area and their barracks, had to be neat and organized and everything else. So when they're out on the road, they're still trying to do that same thing.
Well, and that kind of correlates to the other question I had. I know that there's been times where you guys have been separated and you haven't been able to be on the truck with him. And I'm sure you would probably agree the military life has definitely helped you because you're used to, having long periods of time where you guys aren't together.
It most definitely has. The transition from Army wife to a trucker wife wasn't too hard, because I've already been in that kind of field. I've already been where I've endured a year and a half deployments and raising the kids and paying all the bills and just keeping everything going while he was gone. But with the trucking industry, because I chose to have a husband, I chose to be out here on the road with him.
Exactly.
So it was different, because I'm making that sacrifice, that choice to be out here so I can have my husband back. I could stay home.
So a married man in the Army or in military gets out, joins or becomes a trucker. It would be easier on the trucker and the family because both are used to the separation.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. You're already there. You're already used to it. So really transitioning wouldn't be much of a problem.
Exactly. Well, and that leads me to another question, James. I mean, I know you haven't been out here for too awful long, but you've seen a lot of changes in the industry in the time that you have been out here. What would be a piece of advice you would give maybe a veteran looking to go into the trucking field? What piece of advice would you give them?
One thing is we need to get back to the trucking community being an actual community. Get out of your truck. When you stop for your 10-hour break at night, get out of your truck. Go hang out in the parking lot at the truck stop with the other truckers. Talk to people. Because here lately, that I've noticed that doesn't happen much.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And, my dad was a truck driver, so I grew up with it. And one of the greatest things in the world was when we would stop at the truck stops at night and a group of truck drivers would be standing outside and throw some steaks on the grill or something like that and just hang out and talk and share your experience, help each other out.
I think that's the only difference between the military lifestyle and trucking lifestyle. It's not big on camaraderie.
It used to be, but it's not anymore.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it. I think technology, with everybody being on their phones and social media and the GPSs instead of our atlases, I think everybody has turned so much to electronic devices that people just don't know how to communicate and then when COVID struck, everybody had to stay away from each other. So that just caused those truckers to not want to socialize even more.
Yeah, when we first got on the road, when Angie started joining me out there, we had a barbecue. We would go and get a couple dozen hot dogs, a couple 12 packs of Coke and Pepsi and Mountain Dews and threw them on ice, and we'd stand out there and we'd grill, and anybody that walked by, we'd hand out hot dogs and sodas and pretty soon we have a nice group around us. But yeah, lately it's not happening like that anymore.
I think it's highly important that you get out of the truck. I mean, physically get out of the truck. It's just not by walking into the truck stops, though.
Exactly.
You gotta physically get out of the trucks. You gotta do something. You gotta see stuff, because if you don't, and suicide rates is high in the trucking industry, if you don't, then you're gonna get depressed. You're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna,
Well, and that's exactly what I was talking about. You've got to get that social interaction, because that helps to alleviate a lot of the depression and mental illness and stuff like that out here. You've got to socialize.
Right.
Human beings are a social animal.
Even if you just get out of the truck and walk around the parking lot and just wave and say hi to people helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lifts your spirit. Absolutely. Well, that's another question I had for you guys. What do you guys do to make sure? I know you guys have the dogs, and so is that do you guys make sure that you stop every couple hours so you guys are walking around and trying to get a little bit of exercise? Because I know it's so hard with us being truckers and driving for those long hours to try to get a little exercise in and be as healthy as we can out here.
We do. Usually about every 2, maybe 3 hours, we'll stop. Even if it's just stop at a rest area, take the dogs out, walk around a little bit. Plus, it helps to keep you awake.
Yes.
Because sitting behind the wheel, especially going through the desert states, that's boring as heck, and you will fall asleep if you don't stop and take breaks and get up and walk around.
I try to get out and walk every 4 hours.
Hey guys, keep your eyes on your road and the ears on us. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the Underwoods.
The late, great Mark Twain once said, "Quitting smoking is easy. I've done it hundreds of times." Well, there are many behaviors that people try to quit. They try to change, and they end up reverting back to that same old self-destructive behavior. That's not just about smoking and drinking. That's even about leaving an abusive partner in a domestic violence situation. Sometimes people have to leave 7 and 8 times before they leave for good. Earlier in my career, when someone wanted to quit smoking, I would make sure that they were totally committed in every possible way, because I didn't want them to fail. Because in my mind, if they failed, they would associate quitting with failing, and then they wouldn't try anymore. But I was wrong. According to the research, we are to encourage people, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. Because one of these times, we're going to quit for good.
I'm Shelley Johnson with Kathy Tuccaro. You can hear us Tuesdays on TNCRadio.live at 8 p.m. Eastern on Women Road Warriors. And don't miss Steve Summers' Overnight Drive right here on TNCRadio.live. Weeknights, midnight to 5 a.m. Eastern. Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret. You're listening to TNCRadio.live. Remember to tune into the Truckers Network radio show with Shelley Johnson, weekdays at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome to Taillights with the Baums. I'm your host, Angie, along with my husband, Larry.
Hello. Welcome back.
And we are here with James and Lori Underwood, good friends of ours. And so we were talking a little bit about, that you guys have sold your house. But another thing we were talking about, we talk all the time when we talk about how depression is really bad in the trucking industry and different ways that we could always help out. But one of the things you were talking about today, Lori, was the importance of time off.
Time off to me is extremely important because he drives 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, 24/7. So to me, I push him to take that time off. I push him to get out of the truck. I push him to go see things, go do things. Because if not, like I said, because the suicide rate is high in the trucking industry, then he's going to have the depression or being stressed out too much or whatever. But I just feel that every trucker should take that a little bit of time, even if it's just a day, to physically get out of your truck.
So I know you guys stop a lot and take your breaks and sightsee. What would be like your number one thing that you have seen out there so far? Like the most beautiful place that you would like to stop again?
Definitely for me was I took Lori to Virginia Beach, and we got to get out and go over onto one of the military bases that's there, and we got to see the first lighthouse that was built by the United States there in Virginia Beach on Chesapeake Bay.
When was that built?
In the late 1700s, I believe. I'm not positive on the time frame, but I know they built it, and then in the 50s, they found a crack in the foundation on it, so they had to build a second one to replace it, but both are still standing, and you can go in the older one. You can climb all the way to the top of the old one.
That would be nice. Did you guys do that? Did you go to the top?
I did. Lori did not.
Yeah.
She was in the wheelchair still at that time.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So we're going to have to take her back.
Yeah, we'll have to go back now because I'm healthier. I can walk more. I can do more. So
Angie loves lighthouses. Maybe we could plan that and do it together.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We have not done that. We've done quite a few out there. My favorite would be Niagara Falls.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I've never been there either. James has never been to the Grand Canyon, so one of these days I would like to take him to the Grand Canyon and see that.
Angie has not seen the Grand Canyon either.
And I think that's the important thing. A lot of truckers, and I know what you're saying, Lori. I think a lot of it has to do with our husbands or military. They just they're always in work mode. They want to work. But like you were saying, it's important to have that time off, whether it's going home to be with your family and your friends, or if you're like us or like you guys where you don't have a home, then it's important to at least get out and do things, especially together as a couple.
It is. It really is. Like, our new thing right now is our anniversary is coming up, our 22nd. And so we planned a trip to Tombstone for 3 days, and we're going to dress up and shut our phones off and have a good time.
That is awesome. Tombstone is a cool place.
And shutting the phones off is smart.
Yeah. Have you been to Tombstone?
Yeah. I went when I was a little kid, about 8. I've gone, so it's been a while that, and I know a lot of things changed, so I'm really looking forward to see, like, the improvements they've done on it and all that.
I went in the late 90s, but I was more interested in the people I was with than I was in seeing the sights and stuff at that point, because I was a young soldier and was hanging out with a bunch of other soldiers, and we were drinking and partying and having a good time.
My daughter was stationed in Tucson, and I came to visit her, and she took me to Tombstone. That was about 10 years ago, I want to say, and it was really cool. I enjoyed it.
Well, you'll have to go back because there's probably all kinds of different changes now.
I'm sure everything has changed in 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But yeah, we like to try to take a weekend off at least once a month. Like, just go and do something at least once a month. Take a weekend off.
Well, it's important. It's really important, especially when you're a married couple and you're teaming or just like us. It's important because you're keeping that relationship healthy.
Yeah, once we get that 5-week mark without taking a break, our stress level goes way up.
Yeah,
I do too. And that's when we start arguing and fighting and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm saying it's really, really important to take that time off because, like Angie said, he's always in work mode. Always in work mode.
Yeah, I would recommend that to every driver out there. At least once a month, take a weekend off and sightsee, not just hang out in your truck for a weekend, but actually get out and do something.
Well, and it doesn't even have to be the weekend. I mean, just take 2 days back to back and go do something. Because a lot of times, a lot of times going during the week is actually cheaper to do things because everybody else is working, so you have no lines, and a lot of the businesses and stuff lower their prices during the week.
Yeah, if you could get weekdays off, that would be great. But we usually only get weekends off. We're usually always running. If we pick up a load on Friday, it has to be delivered by Monday. Or if we pick up something on Tuesday or Wednesday, it has to be delivered by Friday. So during Monday through Friday, we're usually driving. But if we can get something that delivers Friday, and then we don't have to pick up till Monday, then that's our weekend off.
That works.
But yeah, if we get something during the weekday, that would be phenomenal.
Right.
So, Lori and James, I had a question for each of you guys. My question is, we know that there's a lot of people that once the kids go off to college and now they're empty nesters, that they think about either becoming team drivers or doing like what you guys are doing, where the trucker's wife comes out with them on the road. What advice would you have, Lori, for the trucker's wife or the team member as far as keeping your relationship healthy out there on the road when you're in such a confined space?
My number one advice is communication. Even if you're not the driver, if you're just a rider like I am, and your husband's always in work mode, you still have to communicate. You still have to talk to them, get them to talk with you, strike up some kind of conversation. But it's not really healthy not to have any kind of communication in a 10x10 box. So you have to have communication. And the other thing I would say is complete honesty.
Yeah.
No matter if you spend $1, no matter if you buy something, you need to be honest and tell your spouse what you're doing and why you're doing it, because it's, to me, I think it's fair. It goes with that communication thing.
So I probably should have told Angie that I bought an $800 drone.
Well, I think Angie might kick your booty for that one.
I would never, ever, ever do that.
He asked me to see. He'll be like, "Hey, babe, I want to spend $20." I'm like, "Why are you asking me? Just go do it." He asked me even for small amounts.
Well, the reason I'm saying asking is because it strikes a conversation. And not asking, but letting your partner know, hey, I spent this, or hey, I did this, or can we do this, because it strikes up that conversation. And you're always looking for something to add a little pizzazz to your talks that you do out here on the road,
Especially when you're together 24/7 and you feel like you've talked and said the same things over and over again.
Or like when you're in the back and he's driving and you come up front with a wig on or something and be a different person and say, "Hey, baby, how are you?"
Right. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Dear Lord.
What's your question for James?
There's nothing wrong with being
That was my same question, was what advice would he give to a couple considering teaming out here or coming down the road?
And Lori, that was great advice, by the way.
Yes.
My advice is sometimes you got to close the curtains and take your alone time.
Yes.
I got really good at slamming the curtain.
I mean, even if it means one of y'all gets out of the truck for a while during your downtime, you guys... We're together 24/7 in a 10x10 box. Mm-hmm. You got to get some alone time, otherwise you're gonna go nuts.
Like okay, with us, James has his Xbox on the truck. I have a tablet and a MacBook and a laptop and, all that. So if he wants to play on his Xbox, hey, I'll jump on one of my electronics. We'll both sit back here while he's playing. So we're still spending time together, but we're also doing our own thing.
Exactly. You're still in the same space, but you still have that time away from each other where you can just breathe.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say where he can be him, He doesn't have to worry about anything. When it's our time, we don't really talk much.
Exactly. Keep your eyes on the road and your ears on us, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with the Underwoods.
Front Lane introduces Impulse, the world's first collision alert system for the driver behind you when you have to brake hard. Impulse uses ultra-bright pulsing red LEDs to alert drivers behind you who might not be giving their full attention to the road. Using amazing accelerometer technology and a battery that will last for years, Impulse installs in minutes, fits nearly any vehicle, and never requires additional wiring. Drivers react 50% faster, helping to protect you and your passengers. Learn more by visiting www.frontlane.com/impulse. That's www.frontlane.com/impulse. Approved by all 50 states. Impulse by Front Lane.
This blog on tncradio.live is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. 5 ways to handle sickness on the road as a truck driver. Being sick on the road is one of the worst situations a truck driver could be in. As if being sick isn't bad enough, sickness on the road is 10 times worse. If you're sick at work, you can simply go home for the day and rest. This isn't the case for truck drivers. Truck drivers are hundreds and sometimes thousands of miles from their home. When a truck driver gets sick, it affects their ability to deliver their load on time. They also lose money while trying to recover. As a trucker, it's important to know how to handle sickness on the road. Here are 5 tips for you. Stay hydrated. Drinking water and electrolytes have a ton of benefits while you're sick. Water helps replace the fluids lost while loosening up mucus. Hot liquids also have benefits as well. The steam from hot liquids helps relieve congestion and soothe a sore throat. Stay clear of sugary drinks. They'll dehydrate you. Rest. Sometimes the best thing you can do while being sick is rest. Your health's more important than getting a load delivered on time. Plus, it can be dangerous to drive while you're sick. Take a day or 2 to rest and get better. Continuing to work while being sick will only drag out the healing time. Take medicine. If you start to feel sick, get medicine as soon as possible. Vitamin C supplements are great immune boosters. Also, avoid eating unhealthy, greasy foods. Eating properly keeps you healthy and boosts your immune system. If you're already sick, check to see which over-the-counter medicine would help the most. Talk to your dispatch. Let dispatch know what's going on. If you're sick, you may not be able to perform your daily duties, or you may not be able to drive at all. Don't rush recovery time. Rushing recovery time can result in re-injuring yourself. Truck drivers know that if their truck's parked, then they're not making money. It's better to take a week off to recover than try to work when you're not ready and further injuring yourself. This blog on tncradio.live was brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
Hey, rideshare drivers and gig economy workers, the host of TNCRadio.live, the Rideshare Rodeo Podcast, and the Gig Economy Podcast come together for news, talk, music, stories, laughs, and more. We're live Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, right here on TNCRadio.live. You're listening to TNCRadio.live. Remember to tune into the Truckers Network Show with Shelley Johnson, weekdays at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Welcome back to Taillights with the Baums. I'm Angie with my lovely husband, Larry.
Hello again. Welcome.
And we are here with our guests, Lori and James. Before we get to them real quick, I just wanted to remind you guys to stay tuned after our show. We have Women Road Warriors coming up next, and they're going to be discussing hoarding this evening. So it should be a pretty interesting show. Lori and James, we're getting ready to wrap up the show, but I just kind of want to give you guys a chance to tell everybody where they can find you and get a chance to see your guys' life out on the road.
Where can they find us?
Well, they can find us on Facebook. Our page is Rolling with the Underwoods. And they can also find us on TikTok.
Rolling with the Underwoods there, too.
And
live streaming, I just love watching you guys cook on your truck. That is my favorite thing to watch.
Well, thank you, Larry. But we also do live stream on A Trucker's View.
So you guys can always...
We live stream there, too.
Yep, so find us on Facebook on A Trucker's View, too, and come watch our live.
Yep.
Yes.
See how we cook in our little 10x10 box.
Yes.
You guys do a great job. Where can they find you at, baby?
Yes, you can find Larry and I also on Facebook at Married the Road. We're also on TikTok and Instagram. And you can also follow us live streaming on A Trucker's View.
And that's Married to the Road.
Yes.
That number 2.
Yes. And
we're also on Trucker's View.
Yes. And all 4 of us are new to TikTok, so we're having a lot of fun with it.
TikTok is a blast.
It is.
You get addicted to that.
I'm going to get in trouble for my blinky videos, though.
I'm a TikTokaholic now. I love making the videos.
Yes.
And everybody out there is my TikTokians.
Yes.
I like that. TikTokians.
There's a lot of good truckers on there. If you haven't joined TikTok yet and you are a fan of truckers or you're a trucker yourself, I do highly suggest you do that because it's another way to get a glimpse into the truckers' lives.
It is. It really is, you know.
And a trucker sense of humor.
I like live streaming with one camera facing the road and the other camera facing on Angie. So they get to see the road and they get to see Angie as she's answering all the comments that people have.
Yes.
We love the interaction part of it.
Exactly.
Most of the time, we only have one camera on. Usually it's on the road if we're driving, or it's on us if we're cooking.
Yes.
Yep. But my favorite thing is, like, we're interacting with the world. So it's like we're not stuck in the box. We're actually out of the box amongst the living.
Yeah, communicate with other people. They kind of live vicariously through us.
Right.
And one more time. Stay tuned for Women Road Warriors. They're talking about hoarding. They are going to have a great show tonight. So thank you, everybody, for listening, and stay tuned for Women Road Warriors.
You're listening to TNCRadio.live, Houston, Texas. This station is owned and operated by